man that I've gotten an opportunity to visit with over the last hour and a half and have some fellowship with him. And I'm tickled in a short period of time to call him my new friend. Pastor Jerry Stephenson will now give us our invocation.
Would you bow with me, please? God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by Thy might has led us into the light. Keep us forever in the path, we pray, lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met. Lest our hearts drunk with the wine of the world, we forget Thee, shadow beneath the hand. May we forever stand true to our God, true to this land of the United States of America. As we come before you, O God, we thank you for this day, that you have brought us together to witness a movement in this country, a movement to bring back this country to the values and the principles that this country was built upon. And we thank you for Senator Rand Paul, for him coming and stepping out with courage and commitment. We thank you, O God, for his family, his father, his mother, and all of his siblings, and his dear wife and children. May you put your shadow of your love and your hand over them, O God. And now I ask for everyone to join with me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. And they all said, Amen.
You all in for a real treat. And I asked Marlana Vanhoose to come and sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we
like that. Next, I want to introduce Dr. Ralph Alvarado for a Guatemala video.
The lights are back on, that's great. Good morning. You can all imagine what went through my head when I was asked to introduce the next President of the United States. Excitement, hope, honor, pride are just some of the words that might help describe this feeling. But the biggest word that came to my mind was how. How do I sum up a transformational individual for America in just a few words? I realized that I should share really what I know about Rand Paul. Rand Paul is more concerned about doing what's best for our country rather than doing what is politically expedient. He's a man who, in my opinion, would just as soon be voted out of office and return to his ophthalmology practice than to violate his principles or the United States Constitution. It is time for us to elect a man of principle. It is time for us to inject leadership into our White House. Kentucky has witnessed leadership for the past 5 years in the United States Senate, and with Rand Paul in the White House, all Americans will know what real leadership is all about. Ladies and gentlemen, it's also time for someone with knowledge and experience to lead us. It is time for Dr. Rand Paul to lead us. While attending Duke Medical School, Rand was trained, as many physicians are, to look at problems objectively and to solve them with rapid, effective analysis. A physician knows how to build a coalition of knowledgeable people to achieve a necessary goal. A physician is also inherently compassionate. I know Dr. Rand Paul as a friend and as a doctor. And as a longtime member of Lions Club International, Dr. Paul founded the Southern Kentucky Lions Eye Clinic in 1995, a nonprofit organization that's offering free eye care to patients that are in need. He's performed free surgeries for patients here in Kentucky and for children in developing countries all over the world. Last year, he traveled to Guatemala with the Morin Eye Center to perform 200 surgical cases. And there are plans also underway for a medical philanthropic trip to Haiti later this year. It's time for a compassionate leader in the White House. It is also time for a uniting force. Over the past 8 years, America has seen way too much division. We need a leader who's going to embrace diversity and can bring everyone together. We need someone who can broaden the tent of opportunity in America and show in actions, not just words, that we are all equal under the Constitution and our God. Young, old, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, rich, poor, all are welcome, all are equal, and all can prosper. And we need someone who can unite this country into one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It is time for principled leadership. It is time for knowledge, for experience, for compassion, for opportunity, for unity. It is time for a President Rand Paul. On his recent trip to Guatemala.
In a makeshift operating room in remote Guatemala, a side of Senator Rand Paul most people have never seen. The eye surgeon on a mission to help the blind and nearblind see in a country where more than half the population lives in poverty.
This is an amazing enterprise. We have a surgery center, we got a dental clinic, and we've got a place doing glasses.
Scores of people line up every day for a week, hoping American doctors can give them their sight and their lives back. Back inside the hospital, less than 24 hours after surgery, bandages are removed and the reactions are heartwarming, even tear-inducing.
Oh, she was
Just a day before, a farmer couldn't see through cataract-clouded eyes. Then the eye patches come off. One of more than 200 success stories in a week. Lives transformed.
A physician is who I am. That's who I am. I'm a physician.
There's no reward, more dramatic than seeing someone sit up and say, "I can see."
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bosler.
3 years ago, when I became eligible to vote, I contemplated my personal political beliefs and what types of candidates embodied my values. I was raised as a Republican, but I still struggled to find a leader that I believed shared my view of the way forward. I wanted to find the candidates that shared my values as a Republican and as an American. That is when I found Rand Paul. Young Americans are now faced with a legacy of legislative dysfunction, political dogma, and an unclear future. We hear rants from the left and rants from the right. We are tired of those who simply want to play partisan politics. We yearn for a true leader, one who represents us. My generation is not comprised of the traditional electorate, and Rand Paul is not the traditional politician. He is not only interested in Republican successes, he is interested in American successes. In an era of big government, Rand Paul wants to restore our decision-making powers, not take them from us. He wants us to participate in the political process, not be a victim of it. Today, young people communicate in new ways. We use social media. We use platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Rand Paul is not interested in limiting how we use these technologies, nor does he want to trample our civil liberties by monitoring these communication tools. Rand Paul encourages innovation, protects civil liberties, and fights for our freedoms. Most importantly, Rand Paul stands up for our Constitution and the principles on which our nation was founded on. For these reasons and many more, I am proud to stand with Rand.
The Constitution isn't about one individual. The Constitution isn't about restraining you. The Constitution is about restraining the government. Ask the Facebook generation whether we should put a kid in jail for the nonviolent crime of drug use, and you'll hear a resounding no. Facebook generation if they want to bail out too big to fail banks with their tax dollars, and you'll hear a hell no. As our voices rise in protest, the NSA monitors your every phone call. If you have a cell phone, you are under surveillance. I believe what you do on your cell phone is none of their damn business. The enthusiasm kids have and the, I think, inherent belief in the right to privacy is overwhelming on campuses. And it doesn't matter whether it's Berkeley or the college at Charleston. Kids universally think government's gone too far at snooping and looking at the record. Will we sit idly by and let our rights be trampled upon? Or will we stand like men and women of character and say, we are free, and no man, no matter how well-intentioned, will take our freedom from us. Liberty is infectious. Freedom is popular. We can spread it. But we need to be the party that's not concerned just with one or two of the amendments. We need to be the party of the entire Bill of Rights. Mr. President, we won't let you. We will not let you run roughshod over our rights. When the President refused to rule out droning of American citizen, I took a stand. I filibustered. Will you, America's next generation of liberty lovers, will you stand and be heard?
Please welcome Pastor Jerry Stephenson.
Now, when you give a pastor a microphone, then tell him you got 2 minutes. Something wrong with it. Well, I'm Pastor Jerry Stephenson. I serve as the preaching minister, one of the shepherds of the Midwest Church of Christ here in the city of Louisville. We minister an inner city ministry. We're a small congregation of 400 people with a worldwide mission, and that is to engage our community right in our own backyard. Several years ago, I was blessed to do the invocation for then a young doctor from Bowling Green, who was out here talking about it's time to work with children and people in the inner city. And I said, this man's out of his mind. Senator Paul came to us. We run an inner city ministry called the Village Learning and Development Center. Senator Paul came to us before he was senator and met with the parents of this small inner city ministry. He made a promise to them that he would listen to them and that he would hear their voice. Ever since then, he comes back every year to hear the parents in that community. Most politicians, when they get to Washington, they forget about the people that they represent. I come to tell you, Senator Rand Paul does not forget those little mothers and fathers and those little children in that neighborhood. He does not forget them. In the neighborhood of our church, 81% of the 4th grade children are reading below standard. It is the commitment that Senator Rand Paul has come to visit our center. He He helped us form our first annual free education freedom breakfast last year in 2014. And let me tell you something. Ever since then, there has been volunteers, resources coming so we can keep our commitment to the families of West Louisville. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been a Democrat all of my life. But in 2012, I decided I could no longer follow the leadership in the Democratic Party. I am independent, and I am telling every independent, it's time for you to run out here and run with Senator Rand Paul. Throughout this country. He's not just engaged here in Louisville. He's engaged in Chicago, in Detroit, in Washington, in Atlanta. He goes everywhere. It doesn't matter what color you are. Rand Paul will do that.
Our schools are not equal, and the poverty gap continues to widen. It's time for a new way, a way predicated on opportunity and freedom.
What are you doing coming to a heavily Latino, heavily Democratic area of the city? Why did you come here today?
Well, I think the message of freedom and less government resonates with a lot of people. A lot of, I think, what's fundamentally American is making choices and giving people choices. What's interesting about school choice is that many of the people that we're trying to help, because of their economic circumstances, don't have many choices. For example, wealthy people can go to any school they want. So there are people in Washington who don't seem to think that that choice is also good for people who live in poverty. And so I think the choice should be there for everyone, and that your money, when you paid your school taxes, still should be your money. You ought to be able to direct it where you want to take it. If you could just tell us why you chose to bring Indy here, and if it's difficult, how hard it is to get here, that kind of thing.
I always exercise my choice. I travel about 40 minutes every morning to bring India to school and to also bring her brother.
Education is the great equalizer. It's not easy. Not everybody's got the same chances.
It's a little difficult, but it's an investment. I'm investing in my children.
I've introduced this in Washington. There's something called Title I funds that come out of Washington. They come with a lot of strings, and they go to the school. I'd rather attach them to the student. So if you meet the poverty requirements, you get the money. I'm all for vouchers and school choice. Let the kid go to a better public school or a private school or a religious school or a charter school, but let them have a choice. Liberal policies have failed our poor communities. I've seen and felt this undercurrent of unease. I've been to Ferguson. I've been to Chicago and Detroit, a lot of places with a great deal of poverty. Criminal justice, or the lack of criminal justice, it's not a black or white problem. It's not a black or brown problem. What it is it's a poverty problem. We should stand and loudly proclaim, enough's enough. We should not have laws that ruin the lives of young men and women who have committed no violence. We should not have drug laws or a court system that disproportionately punishes the black community. I hope that African Americans will again look to the party of emancipation, civil liberty, and individual freedom. Thank you very much.
In the last couple of days, you all have probably seen, we got messages by email and texting and whatever method of communication you use to see the video. And now I want you again to see the video.
probably few candidates for 2016 that are more interesting than Rand Paul.
Rand Paul has been the most consistently principled person talking about issues.
The senator for Kentucky might just be the candidate who ends up winning this thing.
He's got the organization on the ground right now. He's in all 50 states. He's got young folks gravitating towards him. He's got African Americans taking a pause and looking at him.
To fix Washington, we can't have business as usual. Congress should read every bill. Congress should also live under the laws they pass. If they won't listen, we should limit all their terms and send the career politicians packing.
Senator Rand Paul filibustered yesterday for almost 13 hours on the Senate floor. Senator Paul showed stamina, a passion that many Americans can admire. Others joined him on the floor at various times to show their support.
I mean, he's out there talking. This isn't one of those, I'm not going to do anything. He's using the filibuster the way it's meant to be used.
Woo! Liberal policies have failed our inner cities.
I want to talk to you about your trip to Detroit this week, where you helped open the first of what are going to be several Republican outreach centers in inner cities. You also unveiled your plan for economic freedom zones in depressed areas.
I think at this point you'd have to call him a front runner, and I think it says something profound about the Republican Party.
It's time for a new way, a new set of ideas, a new leader, one you can trust, one who works for you, and above all, it's time for a new president.
When a man finds a virtuous and capable wife, he has found something more valuable than precious jewels. Kelley Paul has been the wife and the life of Rand Paul for 24 years. They have 3 sons. They have 3 sons, and you're going to like this young lady as the first lady. This place that you and I call home and the rest of the world calls America, it's a pretty special place. I present to you, by way of video, Kelley Paul.
I met Rand on a beautiful spring day in April. Thought he was cute. He was a cute, curly-headed guy. I also thought he was probably 18 years old and still in college. He looked so young. So I kind of blew him off at first. But Rand kept trying. He was kind of persistent at the party, and he came up to me again a little bit later, and we started talking. And during our conversation, I realized that he was not 18. He was 26 and a surgical intern at Georgia Baptist. Very intelligent, very well-read, and really like no one that I'd ever met before. Rand is the middle child of 5. From what I've heard from his siblings growing up, he's a lot like he is today. He was opinionated, had a lot of energy, played a lot of sports. He also loved to collect coins, which is something that he used to do with his grandmother. He was very close to her, and through the years, as her eyesight began to fail, he became her eyes to spy the faint mint marks on the coins as they would go through them together. But Rand never forgot how sad it was for him to watch his grandmother lose her vision. And I think that really cemented in him the desire to be an ophthalmologist. One of the most gratifying things for Rand in his career has been the ability to do eye surgery on children from Guatemala.